Guitar tips, just the tips, just for you. Guitar tips. Hello and welcome back. This is Guitar Tips. My name is Adam Levy, and with this episode, I'm launching a new series within the series. I hadn't been posting a lot of new content here recently, but I've been thinking about it. I just wanted to find a way to make sure that what I'm sharing here is fresh for you. It's interesting and valuable and keeps you coming back to the guitar with some new ideas. And also wanted to keep it fresh for myself as I create these for you. And I was recently really inspired by a visit to a museum. I was on tour and I wound up in Bilbao in Spain. And I went to this museum where they had an exhibit called the ABCs. And what it was that in each room, they had 26 rooms, and in each room there was a concept. Like the E room was emptiness, which was this pretty spacious room with just one piece of art in the whole thing. In the room for letter P was portraits, and that was very different from the emptiness room. It was just paintings everywhere from all different eras, all different schools of art and thought. And just kind of a hot mess of painted portraits, and that was a cool room. And I really loved this exhibit. You know, it was really different from the way that art exhibits are normally organized, which is either like a whole bunch of work by one artist or a whole bunch of stuff from one era, or what have you, different ways that you could organize those rooms. This was stuff from all sorts of eras mixed and matched, and they weren't so much worried about the chronology of how when the stuff was made or what school of thought that the artists were coming from. It was just the ABCs. So this right here, this episode that you are watching right now, is episode 1 in this new series. A is for alternate tunings. Now, I know some of you might already be using alternate tunings and be doing creative stuff with them, and that's cool. I hope you'll still find some juicy stuff in this episode. But I really, to be honest, wanted to make this episode for those of you who are curious about alternate tunings. You see people use them, but you're actually a little scared because you've been working hard, you've been practicing, maybe you've even been out gigging and recording, and maybe you're a really accomplished guitar player already, and the thought of purposefully making the guitar someplace that you feel lost, that's scary. Right now you don't feel that lost on the guitar in standard tuning. Why would you want to do that? Well, this episode is mostly for you, if that describes you. The reason that you would want to do it is it really opens up the guitar to some new sounds, stuff that you can't get at in standard tuning. Certain kinds of chord voicings, certain drony things, expanded register, the stuff that you can get within one easy grip can open up to bigger sounds. There's just I think that if you feel scared of the unknown, just try to turn that whole idea around and say, make the guitar feel like a brand new instrument. Instead of that being a scary thing, make that be a wonderful thing. Remember how excited you were when you first picked up the guitar and really didn't know anything but could make some sounds just by, discovering things and just using your ears and using your wits. That's the place that alternate tunings can be for you now that you're already comfortable in the other place. Comfort is good, but discovery is really important as well. So I'm going to show you in this video one of my favorite tunings, and I'm also going to give you a 5-point kind of system that I use for getting to know any tuning that's new to me. This tuning might be new to you, but you could use it you could use this 5-point kind of system for exploring any new tuning that you come across or that you create yourself. So first, let me just explain this tuning that I'm in. This is, it's called double drop D. What it is you take the low E and drop that a whole step down to D. And you take the high E and you drop that also a whole step down to D. So now it's D, A, D, G, B, D. And I love this tuning because it's kind of a, it's not an open chord exactly. There are open chord alternate tunings like open D and open G. This is not quite that. But what I like about it is the bottom part, the bass part of the guitar, it feels like it's a D tuning. We've got root 5 root in D. So that gives us this nice sound in the key of D or D minor if you like, But then the upper part of the guitar is in an open G sound. So this could be a good tuning for songs in G. So it's cool. It's just there's a certain kind of openness to it. So that I love that. I also love how you've got 3 Ds. So you've got this big drony thing. So it really has a lot of resonance. This tuning. So I love that about it. You've got these octaves on strings 1 and 4. Also got octaves on strings 4 and 6. That's cool. Anyway, I've used this tuning on songs that I've written. I've used this in the studio to kind of come up with different kinds of sounds when I'm overdubbing guitars on other people's records. So I love this tuning, and when I think of playing a non-standard tuning, this is the first one that I usually go to. So now here's the 5-point system that I wanted to share with you. When you get into a new tuning, the first question that you should ask yourself is, what's familiar? What can I go back to if I need to find something familiar? Well, in the case of this tuning, the middle 4 strings are unchanged. So that means you can play a C chord, you can play an A minor chord or an A major chord. You can play little melodic stuff that works on those strings. So that's the stuff that's familiar. You can play the middle part of a bar chord. You can't literally play a bar chord, but you can play the middle part, or you can play this kind of bar chord with the root here. So this is F, this is B flat, C, G. All that stuff is still the same. A minor, F sharp minor, F sharp 7, and so on. That's all familiar. So that's one. Get to know the stuff that you can grab that is still where it was before. And then the second point is what's new. Well, what's new is this stuff. So try to get to know what you can make out of that. Well, I showed you a minute ago the octave stuff. That's cool. That's a new sound that we don't easily have. You can do that on a standard tuned guitar, but it lays a little more easily in this tuning. So that's a new thing. You also have, if you play just basic first position chords, you've got this D on top that wasn't there before. So that's cool. A C chord now becomes C add 9, and A minor becomes A minor add 11. A major becomes A add 4. And so on. So there's a lot of stuff that you can experiment with by just thinking about what chords might sound cool with a D note on top. There's just a lot of stuff there. So try to find some stuff where you could really exploit that high open D or the low open D. So stuff works well where you just move one chord shape around. So that's what's new. Point three, the third thing that you'd want to do when you're getting to know a new tuning, is learn to play a cover song that's native to this tuning. Something that was written in this tuning so that the shapes are going to fall pretty easily under your fingers. And that'll help you build confidence because you'll be playing a song hopefully that you like, and you'll see that you can make music in this tuning. You have to learn some new shapes and some new fingerings, but it can easily be turned into music. You're not just floundering around looking for stuff. There's songs that already exist. So in the case of this tuning, I'm going to tell you some songs that are in this tuning already that you could learn. But if you happen to come across another tuning, or if you invent your own sort of tuning, then you might want to just Google that tuning, guitar tuning, and punch in the 6 letters and see if you can find some songs that are already in that tuning. In this tuning, Cinnamon Girl by Neil Young, that's in this tuning. So you can learn to play Cinnamon Girl. You could learn to play The Chain by Fleetwood Mac. If you want to do that, you're going to want to put the capo on the 2nd fret and transpose this tuning from D to E. So that's in this tuning. Going to California by Led Zeppelin is in this tuning. I'm not playing it very well here, but you get the idea. Like, that would be a great song that you could learn to play in this tuning. Neil Young has another song in this tuning, Don't Let It Bring You Down, where he takes this exact tuning and drops it down a whole step lower. The idea. So that's the sound of that tuning. Pick one of those songs and learn to play it. So that's an important step. Step 4, or point 4, is learn to play a song that's not native to this tuning. So take a cover song or take one of your own songs and try to make it work in this tuning. So just if you were going to play Something, say, by the Beatles, if you just played it as is, already the first chord has a different sound to it because you've got D on top instead of E. That's a beautiful kind of sound that happens. And when you get to the F chord, you can keep the D on top, or if you wanted to make a more kind of basic F chord, you'd have to make an adjustment. So I'm playing, instead of F bar chord, I'm putting my pinky up here and my thumb over here. And then this is like a D9. So instead of like this in standard tuning, I've got D, A, and then F sharp, C, E, D. All these chords sound really cool with the D on top. So yeah, learn a song in this tuning that's not native to that tuning. So that's point 4, or step 4. And then the last step would be to write a song in this tuning. If you're not a songwriter, write a song anyway. Just do it. Just write a song. Write something simple, even just a verse or a chorus. If you are a songwriter, write a whole song. That's how I got to know this tuning and become fluent in it. Is when I first learned it, I started writing songs in this tuning, and that engages a different part of your brain than learning other people's songs when you're starting to create in this tuning. So those are the 5 steps. What's familiar? What's new? Learn a cover song native to the tuning. Learn a cover song that's not native to the tuning. And write your own song. So that's A. A is for alternate tunings. I'll post a new tip next week on Wednesdays. I don't know if I said that before, but this series will be a Wednesday series. And next week we'll be back with the letter B. So until then, for guitar tips and for the ABCs here, I'm Adam Levy. Stay tuned and take good care.